If you're a gamer of a certain age and you used to follow the news, you would recall that the first week of June used to be gaming Christmas. That was when E3 would take place, and starting on Monday and even, getting towards the later days of E3, like there used to be some events going on Sunday, like I could recall for the past, in the final couple of years, Bethesda would hold an event on Sunday. There would be a couple of other studios that would join in, but I remember, Bethesda, like they were debuting, it was either Fallout 4 or Fallout 76, regardless, one of those incredibly forgettable games. But it would be a big stage presentation, and then Monday would come around, and Nintendo, if they weren't done getting laughed out the joint by having the cringy, they always had the worst presentations. Oh my god, highlighted by, all you need to do is just type in a Nintendo E3 Wii Music, and it just kind of lets you know why they went to the Nintendo Direct model and haven't really done any physical presentation since then. But it was always especially fun to see what Microsoft and Sony would bring to the occasion. Now, of course, there would be events that would go on throughout the rest of the week. But yeah, the first week of June, man, that's when you would get everything set up for the upcoming year and for the next couple of years as well. And you also used to have the big studios come out, like EA would sandwich their event where they would just announce whatever, platform they would be relaunching to, wedge a bunch of microtransactions in, and Ubisoft would go ahead and present a bunch of gameplay, quote unquote gameplay, or vertical slices to misrepresent the product that they're going to be delivering in a couple years' time. But it was fun. It was a real enjoyable event, and hell, like even Spike TV, which unfortunately isn't even around anymore, would cover a lot of the press conferences. But from what I hear now, it's like gaming's never been bigger, we're so back, peak fire, all of that crap. But I can go ahead and just compare and contrast like the health of the mainstream rags that were out there, how many like thriving channels there were just simply covering these events. But I don't know, this is the healthiest that the industry has ever been. You have Jeff Keighley throwing his event at the end of the week, but in the lead up to that, you actually have quite a few little smaller events that are out there. And as such, same people that used to show up to E3 are throwing their own smaller events that are going to reach, the same amount of people, if not more, because just had announced, I think on Monday, this news broke that PlayStation is going to be having their own event, their own state of play, which it's going to be interesting, right? If there's something big that ends up getting announced, which there might be, because there's apparently rumors that, one of those long-rumored Final Fantasy remakes, not 7, remake trilogy part 3, okay, like if we're going to be seeing anything on that, it's probably going to be the last game or the last reveal that comes out from the main event on Friday, which I think is more likely than people are giving it credit for. I gotta say, it's a concrete prediction or anything like that. It's just, this is going to be the first and most likely event for it to happen, because he had a similar reveal a couple years ahead of the release back in 2022 at the tail end of Summer Games Fest, but I digress on that one. But yeah, you got the Final Fantasy Tactics remake, remaster, reboot that has been out there in the ether for a minute, being referenced by the director Yasumi Matsuno, okay, and the one games journalist that's left. Not saying that he's good, just saying that he's the one that's left. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier randomly posting that FF Tactics is one of the greatest games ever, and it's like, well, it could be pointing in that direction, or we could finally get some clarification and finally, hear something firm about that FF9 remaster remake that's in the works. That would be cool, and perhaps that'll happen at this event. But if it doesn't, I'd imagine we'll probably hear something, because Square Enix is going to have a presence at Summer Games Fest. This is just strictly a PlayStation thing, and there's a couple of rumors that are out there for PlayStation, but I can imagine some Ghost of Yotei information, because that's supposed to be coming out this year. I forget specifically, but I think it has a release date for like October or something like that. But yeah, the rest of their slate, like they're pretty much wide open, okay? And now that we're outside of that release window, or that self-imposed ban that they had, where they were not going to have any, first-party titles, any AAA releases before the end of first quarter of 2025, that they made at the beginning of 2024, it's like, okay, well, no, the floodgates can open, okay? What have your first-party studios been working on? And like I said, if there's anything notable, we'll touch on that towards the tail end of the week. Because you got this, then you got all of the different conferences that are coming on here, and then you've also got the Switch 2 releasing. I legitimately forget. I think that's, tonight at midnight or tomorrow? Listen, I know it's going to be big, and I know it's going to sell out everywhere, but yeah, I don't know. It's not really scratching that itch for me. But oddly enough, this little showcase with everybody turning out and doing something a little bit different, it's piqued my interest more than any of these events have in quite a while, in fact, okay? Because, yeah, obviously, okay, you have the State of Play happening, or had already happened at this point in time, by the time you guys see this video, okay? Actually, no, it'll be out a couple hours before, so, if you caught it early, if you caught it at the release date, you're going to go ahead and know about as much as I do right now. But if you're a little bit late on the draw and you're watching this the day after, well, it's either announcements, clarifications, or a whole bunch of nothing for about 40-ish minutes. It was presented by Sony, and they're just, I don't know, saving their big reveals for Friday, okay? Because then you got, the indie event, a Day of the Devs, which, whatever, okay, a couple of other things. But that IOI showcase, okay, they're going to be showing off a new James Bond game. That could be interesting, okay? I'll be looking forward to that, or a recap of it, okay? Because it's going to be taking place later in the evening. And then Saturday, Wholesome Direct, which, we see what, game developers, when it comes to Wholesome, it's like, we love families. Well, not our own kids, but just, I love, anyways. And then just a bunch of diversity crap, and future game show, green games, Southeast Asian games, Latin American games, women-led games, black voices in gaming, and Hideo Kojima having his own, Death Stranding 2, which is just, it's just some of the most preposterous and self-indulgent shit I have ever seen in a video game, and that's the first one. And the second one, I legitimately don't care, but there are people looking forward to it because there's people that can actually make sense of the Metal Gear Solid bullshit that he's been peddling for well over a couple of decades. But the first event to kick off this week was in fact State of Unreal, thrown by Epic Games to really highlight the strides that Unreal Engine 5 has taken and what it can go ahead and add to gaming moving forward. It's like, this is kind of a strange one, right? Because you could understand, like, if Sega wanted to throw something, okay, especially during the time of E3, have a stage presentation. It's like, that would totally make sense, okay? Square Enix, I think, for 1 year even did that, and it's like, well, it was mostly taking place in a smaller ballroom, and they just kind of had a table up front. It was a total disaster, but hey, that was also the event where they announced, Nier Automata, but, what's his name? Yoko Taro showed up in full gimmick and is like, what the hell is this guy doing? But little did everybody know that he was going to be announcing one of the most consequential games of the past decade. But hey, stranger times, more simpler times. In fact, if we could return to that, that'd be fantastic. But yes, the big ting coming out of the State of Unreal event was CD Projekt RED, showing off The Witcher 4. And we talked about this yesterday, in fact, that a lot of companies, and there's a few, I think even Xbox, okay, managed to just roll things over and put the rainbow in their profile picture. But CD Projekt RED, oh yeah, they're making sure that they don't miss. I guess they're just so busy with the follow-up to Cyberpunk 2077 now that that's in pre-production. And I'm sure making sure all of their female employees get an ample amount of menstrual leave. They probably were just, a little bit too busy to flip over some social media profile pictures. But hey, they got around to it. Don't worry about it. That, and they also had some gameplay revealed, or at least what they want you to believe is gameplay. Now, I talked about Ubisoft and how they used to have a big E3 conference every single year, and, well, Aisha Tyler would host it, and it was kind of cringe, but it was a point in time where you would still root for Ubisoft because they still have a plethora of amazing gaming IPs, and you would hope that somebody would do something good with it. Like, for every slop installment into the Assassin's Creed extended universe, you would always get like a Rayman Legends or a Rayman Origins, for the promise that you could actually close car doors and Tom Clancy's The Division. You would get the reveal of a sweet boss, or a sweet main villain like Voss or Pagan Min from Far Cry 3 and 4. But the one thing I do believe that they will go down in infamy for is, in fact, yes, the vertical slice of gameplay. Case in point, Watch Dogs, when it was first revealed, how you could see the textures moving, how you could see physics of the raindrops hit. I forget is his name Aiden Pierce? I totally forget that game. I got big hype for it. I bought it and it was like, oh, this is it. This is what we got. And it's like, I'm sure it's fine. And I know modders have really flushed it out and got it back to that point when it was first revealed. I think at E3 2013. Jesus fucking Christ, that's a long time ago at this point. But all of the promise that it showed that day, when people started to see, you know, in subsequent years when they re-revealed it or gave an update on the title, it's like, oh, that doesn't look like what you guys revealed to begin with. And it's like, no, that wasn't gameplay. I don't know what you guys thought that you seen right there. It was a vertical slice. It's as good as the game could potentially look. And that's what is apparently happening right here with The Witcher 4, because Witcher 4 gameplay revealed at State of Unreal tech demo. So it's like, is that the name of the event? The State of Unreal tech demo? Or are you just showing off a tech demo? Or what exactly do we have here? Because, okay, we got the video. Don't really need any sound on the video. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the sound on my end. You guys won't be getting it anyways. I wasn't capturing it. But yeah, some of it looks, well, it looks, actually, I was going to say it looks pretty good, but it doesn't really look all that impressive, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I guess the hair on the bear looks fine. Okay. Other than that, it's like I'm not terribly impressed, if I'm going to be completely honest. Yeah, everything looks good, but at this point in time, like, we haven't really seen that much of a I haven't really seen that much of a jump when it comes to, you know, graphical fidelity in recent years. Okay, this is also CD Projekt RED that also, you know, made big promises in regards to, you know, Cyberpunk 2077, and you could see there in the bottom corner there, you know, for a very short period of time, you had a guy, you know, with a DualSense controller in his hands, at least letting you think that this is actual gameplay. Okay, Ciri's somewhat interacting with NPCs. What, throwing them something on the ground, change or something like that. Oh, cool, you got dwarves. Okay, they actually look more realistic than a lot of the stuff that you've seen from Rings of Power in last year. But all right, not too bad. But okay, cool. So she's going through a village and everything looks, well, it looks, I don't know, fine, I guess. But it's yeah, it's not something that we haven't seen before. Okay, yeah, we've got only 6 seconds left, and I guess is there going to be anything mind-blowing after this? But yeah, you could go ahead and focus on what the beautiful landscapes. They did a pull-out shot, but the entire presentation was 2 hours long, and yeah, they're touting that this is, oh my god, it's that right there. Okay, what you're seeing right there is running on a standard, on a base PS5, and it's coming in at 60 FPS. It's like, okay, cool. It just kind of shows you, it's like, okay, cool, those leaks about a potential PS6. It's like, do we really need that at this point in time? And also, it's like, no mention of the PS5 Pro, huh? You just slashed pricing for it during Days of Play. I forget. Sony has such uninspired names for all of their different events out there. But that's what you can still get out of a base PS5, apparently. The ability to simply play a cutscene, if we're keeping it a buck, because the Witcher 4 tech demo shows footage running at 60 FPS with ray tracing on a base PS5. The demo shows how the game could look on a standard PS5. Where, like I said before, yeah, while the video was playing, where have we seen this before? All right, Cyberpunk 2077 specifically from CDPR. Ubisoft made this trick famous back in the gap, and they're running it back because why exactly? A gameplay-based tech demo for The Witcher 4 has been shown off during the Unreal Engine showcase, where it's like, okay, cool, yeah, they're using the Unreal 5 instead of their own in-house engine. That's fantastic. We have seen what Unreal 5 is capable of. It has very spectacular graphical fidelity. Okay, it handles physics awfully well, but when it comes to big sprawling open worlds, haven't really seen anything put it to the task quite yet. And this right here, well, Witcher 4 could end up being its biggest test bed so far. And so for the first time that we see anything outside of just, you know, a pre-rendered visual, it's interesting that they want to initially put this off, or I'm sorry, peddle that footage as being, oh, potential gameplay, but then they have to come out afterwards after everybody goes, oh, geez, it looks so pretty. State of Unreal presentation open with CD Projekt RED developers taking to the stage to show technological showcase set in the world of The Witcher 4, running on a PS5 with ray tracing enabled, and then they have to add this update. CD Projekt RED has confirmed to VGC that what was shown wasn't Witcher 4 gameplay, but a tech demo set in the Witcher 4 world. Oh, okay, cool. So you're trying to pass that off, okay? Trying to pass that off as being representative of your game. Now, I understand you want to clarify it after the fact, but you're more than willing to lend out a game as somewhat of a skin suit, as simply a physics simulation. Is that what you're trying to do? This is a tech demo and a first look at the cutting-edge technology powering The Witcher 4, but not The Witcher 4 itself. It showcases the powerful foundation we're building in close collaboration with Epic Games to push open world design further, and even before the core systems and features we're developing using Unreal Engine 5. Ooh, that's kind of a revelation in and of itself. We'll just finish this. We're really proud of this early milestone and excited to give you a sneak peek at some of the cool tech like UAF, nanite foliage, smart objects, ML deformer, fast geo streaming that helps us shape the future of The Witcher. Yeah, that's wonderful and fantastic. Here's a bunch of jargon that's really not going to matter to your average gamer. Like, they just want to know what the game is going to look like, how's it going to play, and is Ciri going to be a bitch or not. But as people are focusing in on, oh, look at her, CD Projekt RED has really learned, okay, they changed the look of Ciri. And while they're too busy gooning over the 16 people playing that fucking Stellar Blade demo and just giving her fucking pasties and having her run around. How's the gameplay on that one? Oh, Eve's really hot, you fucking people make me sick. No, I said this before when he had the different, what was it, a different trailer or a different teaser in regards to The Witcher 4, but no, it's just different lighting, okay? It's different lighting and it's a different camera angle. That's Ciri, man. Like, she's got the scar on her face. I don't know, man. If you want to make comparisons about cheekbone heights and eye width, you go for you, but yeah, she doesn't look that different from the original if we're going to keep it a buck. I just want to know how it's going to make sense that she becomes the first female to ever complete the Trial of the Grasses, and how exactly you're going to evolve on a game that just turned 10 years old and is still regarded as one of the best games of all time by a bunch of people. Let's just see what you actually innovate on, as opposed to try to peddling the work of somebody else off as your own and confused an already distrustful audience. Just wondering when you're actually going to clear some stuff up. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.